How high does it go?
What?
The plane. How high does it go?
I do not know. High enough to kill you if it drops.
How high did they go in France?
Bessie, I told you the story to make a point. French women can fly. American women do laundry. That is the joke.
I am not laughing. Answer my question.
10,000 feet. Maybe higher. Little machines of wood and fabric. They climbed until they disappeared.
I want to disappear like that. Welcome back to After Hours. I am Vaughn. In 1920, every flight school in the United States said the same thing to the same woman. No, not because she could not learn, because she was black, and because she was a woman. Every single school. She applied to them all, the big ones, the ones run out of barns in the middle of nowhere. They all said no. So she did something nobody expected. She left the country, she taught herself French, she sailed across the Atlantic. And she walked into a flight school in northern France where they did not care what color she was. She could fly. Her name was Bessie Coleman, the first African-American woman and the first Native American woman to hold a pilot's license. Not in America, in the world. Born in a one-room cabin in Texas. Picked cotton before she could read. Died at 34 when a malfunctioning plane threw her from the cockpit at 2,000 feet. Between the cotton and the cockpit, she changed what was possible. This is episode 16, The Pilot. Elizabeth Coleman was born on January 26, 1892, in Atlanta, Texas. Not Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Texas. A small town near the Louisiana border. Red dirt roads that turned to mud when it rained. Pine trees thick enough to block out the sky. And cotton. Cotton in every direction, stretching to the horizon. Her mother, Susan Coleman, was African American and Native American, with Choctaw and Cherokee ancestry. Her father, George, was of mixed African American and Choctaw descent. They were sharecroppers. They picked other people's cotton on other people's land. The math of sharecropping was designed to keep people in debt. You borrowed against next year's harvest to survive this year. It was not farming. It was a cycle that looked like freedom, but worked like a chain. Bessie was one of 13 children, in a house that could barely hold 4. Bessie, take your sisters to the field. Your father needs the south rows done before the sun gets too high. Yes, Mama. She walked 4 miles to school every morning. 4 miles on a dirt road, past farms where white children waited for their bus to take them to a building with desks and a library and a piano. Bessie's school was one room with a wood stove and benches made from split logs, one teacher for all the grades. Not enough books. The ones they had were cast-offs from the white school, already missing pages. But Bessie read everything she could find. She was the student the teacher kept after school, not because she was in trouble, but because she had finished the lesson before anyone else. She was also the one who managed the household money. Susan could not read, and Bessie kept track of every penny. When Bessie was 9, her father left for Indian Territory, looking for better opportunities. Susan said she was not uprooting 13 children for a promise that might not hold. So George left, and Susan was alone. 13 children. No safety net. We do not stop. The cotton does not stop growing because someone leaves. We work. We keep our heads up. That is what Colemans do. Susan took in laundry from white families. She walked to their houses before dawn, scrubbed clothes by hand, pressed them with a coal iron. 6 days a week. She never complained. Bessie watched her mother do this every day, and she learned what refusal to break looks like. Bessie finished 8th grade. That was as far as the one-room school went. She briefly attended college in Oklahoma, but ran out of money after 1 semester. She was intelligent enough for any university in the country, but universities did not take black women from sharecropper families. Not in 1910. In 1915, at 23, she moved to Chicago as part of the Great Migration, That massive wave of African Americans who left the South, looking for something better. She moved in with her brothers on the South Side. The heart of Black Chicago. Jazz was playing. The Chicago Defender was publishing. For the first time, she was surrounded by people who were building things, not just surviving. She enrolled in beauty school, earned her manicurist's license, got a job at the White Sox barbershop, good at it, steady hands, sharp tongue. The barbershop was where black men on the South Side came to talk. Politics, business, boxing, the war, and Bessie listened to all of it. But she was not satisfied. She wanted more. She wanted to be in the stories, not just hearing them. Then her brother John came home from the war. John had served in France during World War I. He had seen a country where black soldiers were treated like soldiers, not like problems to be managed. And he had seen something else, something that stuck in his mind like a splinter.
You know what I saw in France? Women flying planes. Not passengers. Pilots. French women can fly, Bessie. But you are stuck here doing nails.
Why are you telling me this?
Because it is funny. You walk around acting like you are going to be somebody special. French women have more nerve than you.
John meant it as a taunt. He expected her to laugh. He did not know that every time someone told Bessie she could not do something, she got quiet. And then she got to work. I am going to learn to fly.
What?
When I do, I am going to fly so high that you will have to look up just to see me. Bessie applied to every flight school she could find. Every single one. She wrote letters, she showed up in person, she dressed well, she spoke clearly. They all said no. Some were polite. We do not accept women at this time. Some were not. We do not take colored. One operator laughed in her face. Another one. Same stationery. Same word.
Maybe it is time to let this go.
I need a different door. If every door in this country is locked, I need a door in a different country. The different door came through Robert Abbott, founder of the Chicago Defender, the most powerful black newspaper in America. Miss Coleman, the manicurist who wants to fly. The woman who is going to fly. Sir. Why flying? Of all the battles you could pick? Because the sky does not have a colored section. It does not have a back entrance. Up there, I am just a pilot. That is enough. Go to France. The French do not have the same color line. But you will need to learn French first. Then I will learn French. The money. France is not cheap. I picked cotton for 9 years. I walked 4 miles to a school with half a set of encyclopedias. I think I can handle a few months of French. On November 20th, 1920, Bessie sailed from New York to France. She carried 2 suitcases, a French dictionary, and every dollar she had saved from years of doing nails. She was 28 years old. She enrolled at the Caudron Brothers School of Aviation in Le Crotoy, open cockpit biplanes made of wood, fabric, and wire. Mademoiselle Coleman, today you take the controls. The control stick governs pitch and roll. The rudder pedals control yaw. They work as a system. One without the other will put you in a spin. Forward, nose down. Back, nose up. Stick for the wings. Pedals for the turn. The first lesson nearly killed her confidence. The plane shook. The controls fought her. But she went back the next day. And the next. Every morning for 7 months. A fellow student died during training. His plane stalled on a bank turn. Are you going to continue your training? I did not cross the Atlantic to quit because flying is dangerous. What is tomorrow's lesson? Solo maneuvers. Good. She trained for 7 months. 7 months of early mornings in freezing cockpits and engines that coughed and sometimes quit entirely in the middle of a flight. She learned takeoffs, landings, turns, banks, rolls, stalls, and stall recoveries. Figure eights, barrel rolls, dead stick landings, where you glide on nothing but wind and geometry. On June 15, 1921, she took her final examination. Takeoff, climb, level flight, turns. A figure eight, a landing within a designated zone. She did every maneuver cleanly. And they handed her the document that changed everything. Her Fédération Aéronautique Internationale pilot's license. She was the first African American woman, the first Native American woman, the first black person of any gender to earn an international pilot's license. She sent a telegram to Robert Abbott. 2 words. I flew. They called her Queen Bess. Brave Bessie. She became a barnstormer, a stunt pilot. Loops, rolls, dives that brought her within feet of the ground. She also gave lectures. She spoke at black churches and theaters and community halls, standing in front of audiences that had never seen a black person fly a plane. She told them that the sky was open to them. She told them that if a cotton picker's daughter from Texas could earn a pilot's license, then anything was possible. She was not just a pilot, she was a symbol. She knew it, and she used it. But from the very beginning of her career, she drew a line in the dirt that she would not cross, a line that cost her money and bookings and opportunities. Big show in Orlando. Main gate for whites, side gate for coloreds. Standard setup. No, one gate. One entrance. Everybody walks through the same door. Or I do not fly. You are going to lose a lot of money. Then I lose money. But I do not lose the children who come to watch me fly and see a black woman walk through a back door to get there. That is not the message. She meant it every time. She turned down show after show because the venues refused to integrate the entrances. She walked away from money she desperately needed. Promoters called her difficult, temperamental. They said she was throwing away her career over a gate. But she knew exactly what the door meant. If a black child walked through a side gate and then looked up and saw a black woman flying, the message was mixed. You can fly, little girl, but you still have to use the back door to watch. The whole point is for them to look up and see me and believe they can do this too. All of it. Not just the flying, the walking through the front door. The sky is not enough. The ground has to change too. By 1926, Bessie was 34. She had one dream left, a flight school for black aviators, a place where they could learn without leaving the country. She needed money, so she kept flying. In late April, she traveled to Jacksonville for an air show. She had acquired a Curtiss Jenny, a used plane with mechanical problems. Friends told her not to fly it. But it was what she had. And the show was in 3 days. On April 30th, Bessie and her mechanic William Wills took the Jenny up for a rehearsal flight. Bessie was not wearing her seatbelt. She needed to lean over the cockpit to scout a parachute jump zone. At 3,500 feet, a wrench left inside the engine compartment during a previous maintenance job slid into the control gears. The plane jerked. The nose pitched forward. The Jenny went into an inverted dive. Bessie was thrown from the cockpit at 2,000 feet. No parachute. Nothing between her and the earth. Wills could not recover. The Jenny hit the ground and exploded. Bessie Coleman was dead at 34. 5,000 people attended her funeral in Jacksonville. Thousands more in Chicago. Ida B. Wells was among the pallbearers. She never opened her flight school. She ran out of time. She ran out of sky. But in 1929, the Bessie Coleman Aero Club was founded in Los Angeles. It trained black aviators. Her dream did not die with her. In 1995, the U.S. Postal Service put her face on a stamp. The girl who picked cotton. The manicurist. The woman who sailed across an ocean because her own country would not let her fly. Every year, on April 30th, pilots from around the world fly over her grave on the south side of Chicago and drop flowers from the sky. They have done this every year since 1937. Her brother meant it as a joke. French women can fly and you cannot. He expected her to laugh. He did not expect her to look at him and say, "Then I will fly too." She was not wealthy. She was not connected. She had a mother who carried laundry baskets on her head. She had 2 suitcases and a French dictionary. She had the absolute refusal to be what the world told her she had to be. The sky does not have a colored section. That is what she said. But